Amber, I am so confused. You say you want that man to protect you, and yet and still, when he tried to protect you from Wayne, you had a problem with it. Again, it go right back to what I said. She want Wayne because you shouldn't even have been upset about the fact that that man checked him for the way he disrespected you because Wayne did disrespect you. You want him to protect you from Shayla, but you don't want him to protect you from Wayne. Like I said, please go ahead and get divorced at this point because you don't know what you want to do. You claim you're trying to get into God and you want God to answer your question. You said you wanted him to protect you. You said you wanted this man to have your back. Well, when he had your back with Wayne, now you're telling him, well, no, I can handle it. Well, then you can handle it when it comes to Shayla then, if that's the case. You can't say when you want a man to protect you and when you don't want a man to protect you. Either you want him to protect you 100% or you don't. Now, there are some men that is going to allow you to handle yourself when it comes to certain situations, and they will step in if need be. But when it comes to a man, your husband should be the one to step in. A woman should never confront a man because you're never going to be able to beat a man. A man is stronger than you unless you somebody's a bodybuilder and you take martial arts or something like that. That's the only way. But if you're just a regular woman that you 5'3" and that man is 6'3", you ain't gonna be able to beat that man. So there's no point of trying to disrespect the man and you're a woman. That is a man's job. So if you're being disrespected and your man steps up and says, look, you're not going to be disrespecting my girl like that, sit back and let him do it. Y'all claim y'all want the soft life, but you really don't. You don't want the soft life as y'all claim. Because if you did, then you would let your man be a man and let him defend you. There are some men that do not have to put their hands on a man to diffuse a situation. Some of y'all like when a man puts their hands, just like what Dom talked about Terry. Talking about, I'm used to a man just putting his hands. He said, I ain't got to put my hands on a man. A real man does not have to put his hands on another man to diffuse a situation, and they don't. So at the end of the day, if I'm with somebody with a male and another male is being disrespectful and I'm saying, dude, look, I am with somebody, and they continue on and my husband says in a very, very nice tone, dude, this is my girl. Didn't she tell you that she's with somebody else? Why are you trying to pursue a female that blatantly told you she got a man? Why is you can't take no for an answer? There are plenty of other women out here that you can mess with, plenty of other women that you can date that basically you can be messing with. It's just like when it came to Momo and the fact that she about to go to that club and make a pretty fool out of herself. And when Angela find out about all of this nonsense, she is going to get sick and tired. And she going to end up not only taking her money from this situation, she might end up taking it over and letting D go out there because D is not ready for legitimate business. He's good in the streets, but not when it comes to leadership outside of it. He don't know how to take those same things that he learned in hustling when it comes to drugs to hustling when it comes to real life like some dudes can. Some dudes can transition from the drug life to basically being successful because Yo Gotti is an example of that. So, like I said, with him and Angela, I think the only reason they broke up was not because of infidelity, nobody cheating. I think it had everything to do with the fact that until he gets this stuff straightened out with these people that keep coming for him because of the Young Dolph situation, and then the fact of all this other stuff, until he gets that stuff clear, then they might get back together. And if they are still seeing each other, we ain't gonna know. So I think they might still be seeing each other still. I just think they might be keeping it more so private, cause he ain't said nothing. So like I said, it's not that these two don't care nothing about each other. They don't love each other. I just think that when his brother died, that kind of changed things for their relationship. Nothing wrong with that. But Amber, you got to make your mind up. Either you want this man to protect you or you don't want this man to protect you. And then the fact that Shayla calling Anthony, please just go get you an attorney. The same way you went and got an attorney when it came to Amber is the same way you need to do the situation. You need to go down there and file child support papers. And Amber, you need to really push that. What you need to do is have him go down there and file child support papers so he can start paying child support, and they can go ahead and do the DNA test, and y'all find out that baby is or is not yours. Because if that baby is in fact his, then y'all can deal with it. Because not only that, Anthony, you need to basically let her know that basically, essentially, your name is not on that birth certificate, so you're not obligated to take care of this kid, and you don't have to. So, like I said, they need new writers, point blank, period. Because me personally, as a woman, what I would have said was, Shayla, he's not giving you no more money until we go to court. We're going to go to court, and we're going to basically go through child support the right way. So he's not giving you no money until then. Anthony, do you have all your receipts? Do you have everything that you've done for this baby up until now? If he says yes, he has all the receipts and everything, and all of the ATMs or whatever the case may be, then we're going to talk to your lawyer about going and seeing about not only a visitation, but also child support. And that way we can basically, because if your name is not on that birth certificate, we need to take care of that before you give that girl any more money. So that's what I would do if I was her. And then when they go to court, that's when she sees Amber and Anthony sitting together and seeing that, and I think that's going to devastate her. And I think the way to break the situation with Shayla is if they go ahead and go to court. And then when they go to court and they establish the child support and she don't get as much as she thinks she going to get, and then the fact that, Anthony, you need to make it be known that you need to kick her out that apartment and tell her she need to go back to her mama house and stay over there with her mama. Because the way that she talking to you crazy, you need to go ahead on and kick her out and go ahead and let Rolanda go ahead and put that place up for sale and have somebody else move into that apartment. That's what you need to do. Because the fact that she's still living there, that's why I say, the divorce still ain't off the table as of yet. Because, like I said, the fact that she's still living in that apartment when Anthony should have been put her out and took her back to her mama house. That's what I would have did. I would have boxed up all her stuff and sent her stuff back over there. Because you still have not told Amber that you're paying for that apartment. So it's a lot of stuff that's still has not been coming out on their end. It's just funny how during that counseling session, they primarily focused on Wayne, but they never focused on Shayla. So like I said, at the end of this, like I said, they are never going to focus on the Anthony and Shayla situation. It's just going to be about Wayne and Amber. That's it. I don't know why they won't focus on that when it came to the counseling session, but they never did. And now they're going to have to, because now that they are back together, the counselor's going to have to now deal with the Anthony and Shayla situation. And when all of that come out, I don't know if Amber going to stay with him. So like I said, Kelvin ain't out the woods just yet. Because, like I said, I don't think they remember half the skits they do. But we'll see how it play out. But, like I said, the fact that Shayla is coming to him crazy, she is pissed. Wait, she gonna run right over there and tell her mama how she called Anthony and Amber ended up saying what she said. This about to get ugly. But I think that Angelina is trying everything to keep from going to court. But if you really want to test the waters, Anthony, and you really want this situation to end, go to your lawyer and go and try to see about trying to get some type of child support established, some visitations established, and getting all of that established. That's what you need to do. So with that being said, like I said, I do not think these two going to stay together. I think there is going to be a divorce, because this ain't going to do nothing but get worse. And Shayla ain't going to do nothing but make the situation worse. And she going to continue to make things difficult for them. So like I said, this is what happens when you make these choices. There are consequences, repercussions, and karma. And the consequences, repercussions, and karma ain't just a one-time thing. It can be recurrent. It can be just as long as consequences, repercussions, and karma choose to be there. So for the rest of Amber life, she going to have to deal with Shayla. And like I said, I don't understand why you going to go back and why y'all want her to go back. But here we are. Because that girl is going to be causing problems the whole 18 plus years. Unless they prove that baby is not his, or unless they set up something within the courts. And even then, it's still going to be a problem. and they still gonna have to deal with her with Angelina and and her family.